Okay, so you know how, like, everyone experiences disappointment at some point, right?
Oh, yeah.
It's that feeling you get when things don't quite go the way you planned,
Hmm.
a project falls through, or you miss out on an opportunity.
For sure.
Yeah, and it can really drag you down. But
Yeah.
what if?
Yeah.
What if instead of letting it defeat us, we could actually use disappointment as fuel
Interesting.
to propel us forward? So that's exactly what we're going to be exploring today.
Okay, cool.
We're diving into a blog post called Turning Disappointment into Opportunity, a guide for professionals.
All right.
The article is by Amy K. Watson, who has a really interesting background.
Oh, how so?
Well, she started her career in ministry.
Okay.
Then she transitioned to management
Wow.
and ultimately found her way to coaching.
Interesting.
So she works with professionals, helping them to kind of unlock their full potential.
It's fascinating how those diverse experiences probably shaped her perspective on dealing with setbacks, wouldn't you say?
Oh, absolutely. And, Amy K. doesn't sugarcoat anything.
Mm-hmm.
She acknowledges that disappointment is just a natural part of life,
Yeah, for sure.
especially in our professional journeys. But here's the thing.
Yeah.
She argues that we have a choice.
Okay.
We can either let disappointment defeat us or use it as a springboard for growth.
So it's about how we react to it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And she really emphasizes the importance of reframing.
Reframing, how do you mean?
Well, she even quotes Shirzad Chamemine from his book Positive Intelligence.
Oh, I've heard of that book.
Yeah. Have you read it?
I haven't read it yet, no.
That's a good one. So anyway, he talks about accessing
Yeah.
like a calm, creative state of mind by choosing to turn disappointments into opportunities.
Mm-hmm.
And what I found really interesting was his point that this calm state is where we perform our best.
I can see that.
Like that's where we can really see possibilities and innovate.
Makes sense.
So it's not just about feeling better, it's about actually performing better.
Right.
And that's pretty cool, I think.
It's fascinating how our mindset can literally shift our brain chemistry. By choosing to see the opportunity in a disappointment, we're essentially tapping into a more resourceful part of our brain.
Yeah, it's like consciously deciding to focus on the solution
Exactly.
instead of getting bogged down by the problem.
Yeah.
And Amy K. illustrates this beautifully with a story about one of her clients.
Oh, I like a good story.
Yeah, so this client, he was trying to get his project team to focus on measuring customer experience.
Okay.
But his initial efforts felt like a complete failure.
Oh, no.
Yeah, and he was incredibly disappointed.
That feeling of failure can be paralyzing, can it?
Totally. Especially for driven professionals.
For sure.
Yeah.
So how did Amy K help him navigate that?
Well, instead of dwelling on the perceived failure,
Okay.
she helped him reframe it as a hypothesis.
A hypothesis.
Yeah, think about that for a second. The project wasn't a failure.
Okay.
It was an experiment,
Interesting.
a test that yielded valuable data.
Oh, that's a subtle but powerful shift.
Right.
Instead of getting trapped in those negative emotions, he was able to extract valuable insights.
Ex-
That could inform his future approach.
And it totally changed his energy.
Really?
Yeah. He went from feeling defeated to being energized to try a new approach,
Wow.
seeing the whole process as an opportunity to learn and grow.
That's awesome.
And Amy K. even mentions that this type of experimental mindset can actually make work more fun.
How so?
Well, you're not afraid to try things to stumble a bit
I see.
because you see it all as part of the learning process.
You're not afraid to fail.
Exactly.
So it's about embracing the journey
Yes.
with all its twists and turns
Mm.
rather than fixating solely on the destination.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But as you know, reframing is only the first step.
Right.
What does Amy K. suggest we do once we've shifted our perspective?
Yeah, what comes next?
Well, that's where it gets really interesting.
Okay, I'm listening. So Amy Kay's a big believer in action.
Right? Huge.
So what does that look like? I mean, you can't just sit around thinking about things
Yeah,
forever.
you got to get moving. And that's where she gets into some really practical tips.
Oh, cool. Like what?
Well, especially when it comes to setting new goals after a disappointment.
Okay.
One thing that really stood out to me was her advice to base those goals on our current reality,
Mm-hmm.
not some idealized version of what we wish things were.
Right, right.
It's about acknowledging where we are,
Uh-huh.
without judgment,
Yeah.
and then setting realistic goals based on that starting point.
That makes sense because if you set unrealistic goals, you're just setting yourself up for more disappointment.
Yeah, exactly. And she also stresses the importance of breaking those goals down
Okay.
into smaller, achievable steps.
Yeah.
It's like that old saying, how do you eat an elephant?
One bite at a time.
Exactly, one bite at a time. By
Yeah.
breaking things down, it feels less overwhelming.
Right.
We're more likely to actually take action.
Yeah, I love how she calls mistakes research and development.
Oh, me too.
It just completely changes the way you think about setbacks.
Right. It takes the pressure off.
Yeah.
Needing to be perfect all the time. Instead, we can approach things with a sense of curiosity and experimentation, knowing that even if we stumble, we're gathering valuable information
Yeah.
that can help us move forward.
It's all about adopting that growth mindset,
Mm-hmm.
seeing challenges as opportunities for learning and development.
Absolutely. And one thing I found particularly insightful
Okay, what's that?
was Amy Kay's emphasis on emotional regulation.
Uh-huh.
She doesn't just gloss over the emotional aspect of dealing with disappointment.
Right.
She really dives into it.
Which is so important because our emotions can either help us or hinder us in these situations.
Absolutely. And she makes this really interesting point
Okay.
that awareness of our emotions actually gives us the power to choose how we respond to them. It's like by simply acknowledging those feelings
Yeah.
of frustration, sadness, or even anger,
Uh-huh.
we create a space for ourselves to decide how we want to react.
It's about reclaiming our power from those knee-jerk emotional reactions. Instead of letting our emotions dictate our behavior, we can pause, observe them, and then make a conscious choice about how we want to proceed.
That's so powerful. And it reminded me of something I read recently
Oh, yeah. What was that?
about the difference between reacting and responding.
Interesting.
Reacting is often impulsive,
Mm-hmm.
driven by our emotions,
Yeah.
while responding is more thoughtful,
Right.
intentional.
Okay, I see the distinction.
And Amy Kay suggests that practices like mindfulness can help us cultivate that ability to respond rather than react.
Yeah.
It's about training our minds to become more present,
Right.
more aware of our thoughts and feelings,
Mm.
so we can make those conscious choices in the face of challenges.
Now, I'm curious, what are some specific mindfulness techniques that listeners could try?
That's a great question. And you're right, for many people, the concept of mindfulness can feel a bit abstract
Yeah.
or even intimidating.
Yeah. So what can we do?
Well, even simple practices can make a big difference.
Oh.
Something as basic as taking a few deep breaths,
Okay.
when you feel those negative emotions rising, can help to create that space
Uh-huh.
between the emotion and your reaction.
Yeah, just taking a moment.
Exactly. That's something anyone can do
Yeah.
anywhere, anytime. What else?
Another technique is to simply label your emotions.
Okay.
So instead of getting swept away by a wave of frustration,
Mm-hmm.
you might say to yourself, okay, I'm feeling frustrated right now.
Right.
Sounds simple.
Yeah.
But that act of labeling can actually help to detach yourself from the emotion and create some distance.
So it's like we're becoming observers of our own emotions.
Exactly.
Rather than getting completely consumed by them.
Right. And from that place of observation,
Yeah.
we can then start to choose how we want to respond.
Okay.
Maybe we need to take a break, talk to someone, or engage in an activity that helps us process those emotions in a healthy way.
I think what makes Amy Kay's approach so effective
Uh-huh.
is that she combines practical strategies like goal setting and mindfulness with a deep sense of compassion.
Right.
She really emphasizes the importance of being kind to ourselves,
Yeah.
especially when we're struggling.
That's what sets her apart from a lot of other self-help gurus out there.
Totally.
She's not just about pushing for more productivity or achievement.
Right.
She acknowledges the human element,
Mm-hmm.
the fact that we're all going to face setbacks, make mistakes,
Yeah.
and experience disappointment.
And she reminds us that it's okay.
Yeah.
It's all part of the journey.
Mm-hmm.
Remember that phrase she uses? Shh, happens.
Oh, yeah. I love that.
So simple, but so liberating.
It is. It's about letting go of that need to be perfect,
Mm-hmm.
that pressure to have it all figured out all the time.
Totally.
Yeah.
And it's in that acceptance, that self-compassion,
Yeah.
that we can actually start to see the opportunity in those difficult moments. Now, I want to loop back to the story about Amy Kay's client.
Okay. The one with the project team.
Yeah, you mentioned earlier that his belief that success was still possible played a huge role in his ability to overcome that initial disappointment.
Exactly. But how do we cultivate that kind of belief?
Right.
Especially when we're feeling discouraged.
That's a great question. And it's something that Amy Kay doesn't explicitly address in this particular article.
Okay.
However, I think there are a few things we can glean from her approach
Uh-huh.
that can help us build that sense of belief.
Like what?
One is the importance of focusing on our past successes,
Okay.
even if they seem small.
Right.
It's about reminding ourselves that we've overcome challenges before
Mm-hmm.
and we can do it again.
It's like building that mental muscle of resilience.
Yes.
Proving to ourselves that we have what it takes to bounce back.
Exactly. And another important factor is surrounding ourselves with supportive people.
Oh, yeah, that's huge.
People who believe in us,
Mm-hmm.
who encourage us,
Yeah.
and who help us see the possibilities even when we're struggling to see them ourselves.
Sometimes we just need someone to remind us of our own strengths and potential.
Totally.
Yeah.
And finally, I think it's about cultivating a sense of gratitude,
Gratitude.
even amidst the disappointment.
Even when things are tough.
Yeah, it might sound counterintuitive,
Okay.
but taking the time to appreciate the good things in our lives,
Yeah.
even the small things, can help to shift our perspective and open us up to new possibilities.
That's a really powerful reminder. It's so easy to get caught up in what's wrong,
Right.
what's not working, that we forget to appreciate all the good that's still present in our lives.
Exactly. And that gratitude, that appreciation, can be a powerful antidote to discouragement.
Yeah, I can see that.
It can help us reconnect with our inner strength and remind us that even in the face of challenges, there's still so much to be grateful for.
So to sum up,
Yeah.
Amy Kay's approach to turning disappointment into opportunity involves reframing, taking action, managing our emotions, and cultivating that belief that success is still possible.
Exactly. It's a holistic approach
Yeah,
that recognizes both the practical and the emotional aspects of this process.
right. And I think what makes it so compelling is that it's grounded in reality.
Oh, totally.
Amy Kay doesn't pretend that it's easy to overcome disappointment,
No.
but she offers a roadmap, a set of tools and strategies that can help us navigate those challenges and emerge stronger on the other side.
It's a journey, not a destination.
Right.
And it's a journey that requires both inner work and outer action. But as Amy Kay demonstrates through her own story and the stories of her clients, it's a journey that's ultimately worth taking because it can lead to incredible growth, resilience, and fulfillment.
Absolutely.
Wow, exploring Amy Kay's insights has really got me thinking about how I handle disappointment, in my own life.
Yeah.
It's so easy to fall into those negative thought patterns.
Right.
But she offers such a refreshing perspective.
Yeah, it is empowering, isn't it?
Oh, totally. To
Right.
realize that we're not just victims of circumstance,
Yeah.
but that we actually have the power to choose how we respond to those inevitable setbacks.
For sure.
And, one thing that really struck me
Yeah.
was her emphasis on the power of belief.
Uh-huh.
She talks about how her client's unwavering belief that he could still achieve his goal,
Yeah.
despite those initial setbacks, was crucial to his eventual success.
It really highlights the self-fulfilling prophecy at play.
It really does. It's amazing how our beliefs can shape our reality.
Oh, yeah.
When we believe in positive outcomes, we're more likely to put in the effort to take the risks and persevere even when things get tough.
Absolutely.
But conversely, if we're constantly doubting ourselves, expecting failure,
Yeah.
we're much more likely to sabotage our own efforts.
It's like our beliefs become a filter through which we view the world,
Right.
influencing our perceptions, our actions, and ultimately our results.
So the question is, how do we cultivate that belief in ourselves?
Yeah, how do we do that?
Especially when we're feeling discouraged.
That's the million-dollar question.
I know, right?
And one that Amy Kay doesn't explicitly address in this article.
Right.
But based on her approach, I think there are a few key things we can do.
Okay, like what?
One is to consciously focus on our past successes,
Okay.
no matter how small they may seem.
Right.
It's about reminding ourselves that we've overcome challenges before,
Uh-huh.
that we have the inner strength and resourcefulness
Yeah.
to navigate difficult situations.
It's like building that mental muscle of resilience.
Exact.
Proving to ourselves that we have what it takes to bounce back.
Absolutely. And another important factor is our social support system.
Oh, our support system.
Surrounding ourselves with people who believe in us,
Yes.
who encourage us, and who can offer a different perspective when we're feeling stuck.
It's so important to have those people in our lives.
Oh, it makes a world of difference. Sometimes we just need someone to remind us of our own strengths and potential.
Right, when we can't see them ourselves.
Exactly.
That's so true. And another thing that came to mind,
Okay.
something that Amy Kay touches upon throughout the article,
Uh-huh.
is the importance of self-compassion.
Oh, self-compassion. That's huge.
It is. It's about treating ourselves with the same kindness and understanding that we would offer a friend
Yeah,
who's going through a difficult time.
absolutely. It's so easy to beat ourselves up when things don't go our way.
Oh, yeah.
But that just adds to the suffering.
It does.
Self-compassion allows us to acknowledge our struggles without judgment. to recognize that we're all human and we're all going to make mistakes.
It's about giving ourselves permission to be imperfect,
Yes.
to not have all the answers,
Right.
and to learn and grow from our experiences.
Both the successes and the setbacks.
Exactly.
And in that acceptance, that self-compassion, we create space for growth,
Yes.
for resilience, and ultimately for turning those disappointments into opportunities.
I love that. So to wrap things up, Amy Kay's framework for transforming disappointment boils down to a few key principles.
All right, let's hear them.
Reframing our perspective, taking action, managing our emotions, and cultivating that belief in ourselves.
Those are great.
It's a holistic approach
It is.
that acknowledges the complexity of human experience and offers practical strategies for navigating those inevitable challenges that life throws our way.
And what I find so inspiring about Amy Kay's message is that it's grounded in reality.
Oh, totally.
Yeah.
She doesn't offer some quick fix solution
Right.
or pretend that it's easy to overcome disappointment.
No, she keeps it real.
She does. Instead, she provides a roadmap, a set of tools and perspectives that can help us navigate those difficult emotions, learn from our experiences,
Yeah.
and ultimately emerge stronger and more resilient on the other side.
It's a journey, not a destination.
It is.
And it's a journey that requires both inner work and outer action. But as Amy Kay's own story and the stories of her clients demonstrate, it's a journey that can lead to incredible growth, transformation, and fulfillment.
Absolutely. And remember, this all comes from Amy K. Watson, who's a certified leadership coach and specializes in helping professionals who are feeling stuck. She has a really interesting background, having worked in ministry, retail, and higher education.
Sounds like she's got a lot of wisdom to share.
She does. If you want to get in touch with Amy K., that's easy. Just go to amykwatson.com and look for the contact info. So the next time you're facing disappointment, remember Amy K's wisdom: reframe your perspective, take action, manage your emotions, and believe in yourself. You might just be surprised at what you can achieve. And that's a wrap for this deep dive. Until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep turning those disappointments into opportunities.